What's up, guys? Before we get started, a lot of you wanted to know what my reaction was for the Notre Dame Michigan game. Well, if you want to know that, as well as my reaction towards week 1 in general, check out the Buckeye Boys podcast with Paul Jamison and JG. This is on iTunes. Go ahead and go on there, give it a 5-star review. Paul and JG do an excellent job. Also follow Paul Jamison's channel below. It's in my description. Trust me, I was not easy on my Wolverines. They don't deserve it. With that said, I learned a lot in week 1. Let's get into it. Only 1 week of the 2018-2019 college football season has played out, yet I already know who's going to make the playoffs and who's not. Stay seated, buckle up, and enjoy the ride. It's going to be smoother than a Cam Akers juke in a 24-3 loss.
Get something upfield. Akers breaks free. Cam Akers in the clear.
Here are the 4 teams that are headed for the promised land, accompanied with what will happen once they get there. The team that will finish in the 1 slot plays a lot of tough 4A high school teams along their journey, including but not limited to Arkansas State, the Citadel, Louisiana Lafayette, and Tennessee. Seriously, can we even call that a rivalry anymore? This coming from a guy whose team has lost 13 of the last 14 against their rival. Anywho, Alabama's only real 3 games against teams with actual pulses are at LSU, versus Mississippi State, and versus Auburn. Mississippi State is just never going to beat Alabama. Like, not this year and not ever. Auburn beat Alabama last season, so don't count on them being able to do it again. The Tide will get revenge. So with that said, after seeing LSU in week 1, I think they may be the biggest threat towards Alabama this season, outside of the SEC championship game. Even if Bama were to lose to LSU, they wouldn't lose again after that. Georgia is cursed by Tua. In that case, Bama would be bringing a Tagovailoa to a dogfight. No? I thought it was funny. My number 2 team is the Clemson Tigers. If you thought Bama's schedule was easy, Clemson makes theirs look rather innocent. At the time of this recording, Clemson doesn't play a top 25 team until the last week of the season, November 24th against the number 24 South Carolina Gamecocks, who were not ranked last week, and Clemson plays them at home. In a past video, ACC fans got onto me, but seriously, how can you defend that? Clemson is pretty great and Virginia Tech looked dang good last week. Outside of that, the rest of the conference is booty. With those 2 breeze picks out of the way, here's where things started to get a little more difficult for me. At number 3, give me the Oklahoma Sooners. I know I sound repetitive here, but look at their schedule, fam. At number 16, TCU, and at number 14, West Virginia is literally it. It's an absolute joke. On top of that, the Big 12 doesn't have divisions, so say Oklahoma loses to one of those teams but beats the other, they're able to still get into the Big 12 championship game without a problem. And that's a problem. This, of course, is another conversation for another day, but every single conference should have the same amount of teams, should be split into 2 divisions, and should play an out-of-conference foe equal to their level of talent. Now, Oklahoma did that the past 2 seasons, so kudos to them, but this year, their OOC challenge is UCLA. Also, Notre Dame shouldn't be allowed to be an independent anymore. It's 2018. Pick a side. Speaking of Notre Dame, they are my number 4 and final team to get into the playoffs. It really came down between them and Ohio State, which really grosses me out to even think about.
Gross. I just thought of Scotty McCreery.
The Irish already got that all-important win against Michigan, which now leaves them with Stanford, at Virginia Tech, FSU, and at USC. So 2 home and 2 away on the slate. I think they go 3-1 in those games, 11-1 overall, and they edge out a conference champion in the long run. Debate ensues, people get angry, and they get even angrier when the Irish get smashed in the 1-4 matchup against Alabama. The Tide will win that game 37-9, and they will face, for the 4th time in a row in the postseason, the Clemson football Tigers. Right after the Tigers beat Oklahoma again, this time 34-26. Now, the 3 champions before this year have been Alabama, Clemson, and then Alabama again. The Tide haven't gone back-to-back since 2011 and 2012, and by sequential order, it's Clemson's turn. Now, does that mean I'm rolling with the boys in orange and purple to get revenge on Saban and company in the tetralogy? You bet your dabo do I am. Clemson, 2019 Natty Champs, 31-27. Take that to the bank. And try to forget that I was 1-3 last week in my picks. Thank you. What's up, guys? If you enjoyed that video, go ahead and give it a like, and please subscribe to my channel if you like college football material. Make sure you subscribe to Paul Jamison's channel as well as his podcast as mentioned in the beginning of this video. I did not have time to make my picks this week, so they're below in the description. They're ordered from hardest to pick to easiest to pick, and they're worth that amount of points next to it. So go ahead in the comments below and pick your picks, and let's see who does better, me or you. Bye-bye. Until next time, be merry, be blessed, all that good stuff. Deuces.